has been darker with more chaos and confusion than recently. Not just the last 2 years, but the last few weeks. It has been so dark. I don't know what's going on in the news today, but they may very well, a bunch of European nations may be saying, well, we don't care what Israel says, that's Palestine. It's dark. But you know what's really great about Jewish history? We don't have to have blind faith. We can look at 3,700 years of history. And every time there's darkness, you know what shows up? A hero. A hero. Abraham, Moses, Joshua, Hezekiah, King David. Doesn't matter when. The Maccabees, the people in the Warsaw Ghetto Revolt, the IDF in 48 and in 67, and Yom Kippur. Every time there's darkness, every time it gets so dark, a hero shows up. Isn't that interesting? A hero shows up. And we are all heroes waiting to come out. Every one of us. A hero in our own life story. We are the writer, the director, the producer, the actor. A hero in our people's culture and history. A hero that is needed in this darkness. Every one of us. So let's talk about, for a moment, becoming a hero. And I don't mean Superman or Batman or any of the other comic book characters that were created by Jews. There's actually a course at a school, at a local university, they can offer a minor in Jewish studies, I swear this is true, and they offer a class as one of the requirements in Jewish comic books. Truly a Mickey Mouse class. So, it is, we need these heroes. And you know what is consistent with a hero? Okay, let's talk about what it means to be a hero. Well, first of all, they're crazy. Everyone thinks a hero is crazy. Think about Noah for a minute, okay? How many remember? Noah, this is the Lord. Right. Noah, I want you to build me an ark. Right. What's an ark? How many remember Lil Cosby? I just dated myself, didn't I? But everyone around Noah thought he was crazy. Why wouldn't you think he's crazy? He's building a boat in the middle of the desert. It's HaShana. And that's true with every hero. Abraham goes out, everyone thinks he's crazy. Moses comes to redeem the people from Egypt. Everyone thinks he's crazy. Because to be a hero is following your own dream. That in itself, to everyone else, may seem a little mashugana. That's part of the journey of the hero, isn't it? So let me tell you a story about a hero and becoming a hero. Once upon a time, a long time ago, before time was kept on watches and watches were kept on wrists, back when rabbis had wisdom, back in that time, so you know it was a long time ago, there was a rabbi. And like the good rabbis of old, he cared about the people. And there was one young man that he always cared about. The rabbi had known him his whole life, and the young man had become a hunter, not a typical Jewish profession. Because he'd become assimilated, he'd become secularized, didn't believe in God, all these different things. But the rabbi had faith in the young man, so he would walk with him constantly. He'd try to be reminding the young man, the young hunter. Try to be teaching him Torah, try to be teaching about see God and everything. And the young man always was so smart. Oh, they're so smart when they're young. Weren't we all so smart when we were young? And he knew so much, but the young man treasured the rabbi and his relationship. He treasured the dialogue, the arguments, even though he knew he was smarter than the rabbi. And he assimilated and rejected Jewish values. And one day they were walking in the forest, and it was quiet in the forest. And they paused and they realized why it was quiet, because in front of them was a huge feather, glowing with fire. And they realized it was quiet because this was the feather of the famous firebird. Now this was back in the days when what we consider mythical creatures still lived, still walked among us. And the young hunter, the young man, saw this beautiful, huge firebird's feather. And he thought to himself, I should pick up that feather, I should give it to the king, and the king will reward me greatly. He was about to bend down and pick it up when the rabbi said to him, don't do it. Don't pick up that feather. For if you pick up that feather, you will experience fear and you will know the meaning of trouble. Who wants trouble? Who wants fear? On the one hand. On the other hand, he knew he would get a great reward if he got it. So what does the rabbi know anyhow? And he bent over and he picked up the feather. And the two of them went back to the king. And the young man, the hunter, he gave the feather to the king, and the king was entranced and gave him many rewards. And the king said, this is a beautiful feather. But for a truly great king, not just a feather should he have, but the entire firebird. And surely a hunter as good as you who could come up with a firebird's feather can bring me the whole firebird. And by the way, if you don't, my sword will make the distance between your head and your shoulders grow much larger. Well, this disturbed the young man. No, and he did not want to die, obviously. Came back to the rabbi looking sad. The rabbi said, why the long face? And he told the rabbi what was going on. The rabbi said, well, now you're starting to experience fear, but do not worry. Do not trouble yourself. This is not yet trouble. The trouble is still to come. It still lies before you. But I want you to go to the king, the rabbi said, and ask him that he'd want from him his largest, most powerful net. And we will take care of this together. And so the young man, got the net from the king. And the rabbi wrote on a piece of paper, what we just read. In the beginning, God created the heavens and God created the earth. The first words that we just read today. And tied it to the center of the net. The young man said, what are you doing? And the old rabbi said, every creature of God is attracted to the words of the Torah. All creatures, deep in their hearts, know the truth. And so they went to the forest where they found the feather. They played out the net with the words in the center, and they waited. And right around sunset, there was this huge rush of wings. This beautiful firebird came, landed in the net to look at the words of Torah. The young man closed the net very quickly, gathered up the firebird, brought him back to the king, who gave him many riches, and everything seemed good, except the king said, you actually were able to do this, to deliver this firebird. And surely a hunter who is so good to be able to find the firebird, surely he can bring me the object of my heart's desire, the princess Vasilisa. Now Vasilisa normally is on a barge by the sea. We don't know when or how she comes to land, the king said. I once was on the beach and I saw her and I fell madly in love with her. And I know you can bring her to me however you need to. And I know that you realize if you do not, your head will be rolling one way, your body the other. Well, the young hunter went back. The young man went back to his rabbi, looked again sad. The rabbi said, why so forlorn? He told him. And the rabbi said, now you're starting to experience fear, but don't worry. This is not trouble. The trouble is yet to come. The trouble is still before you. He said, go to the king, and I want you to get from him a carriage, get a silver tent, get goat and kebabs, get all the most luxurious and exotic fruits that you can. I will caution them to eat myself. I want you to get all the exotic fruits, the dragon fruit, and guava and papaya, mangoes, like a Persian wedding. Okay, I know exactly where the Mizrahi are in the room. All the exotic fruits, and bring them out. Go get them from the king, and so he does. And they go to the beach, and they set up this tent with the carriage behind it. They set up the tent, and they set up this long table, these wonderful fruits. He also wanted the young man to get the heaviest, darkest, richest wine, and so he did. That was brought. And he said, what I'm going to do is we're going to put all this out. It will attract Vasilisa, and then you will truly attract her by reciting these words from Song of Songs, King Solomon's book, Shir HaShirim. And in this way, you will be able to acquire her to go to the king. And so this is what they did. They put out all the fruits. They had the smell of the goat and the lamb wafting, heavy wine. And a barge came by and it smelled all the wonderful things. The Princess Vasilisa came off the barge and she came into the tent. The young man was entranced because she really was that beautiful. He said, please come eat, come drink. She goes, I would love to, but I cannot. I am Jewish. I must keep kosher. The young man said, so am I. And all this food is kosher. At which point they had the fruits and they had the meats. And as they were drinking the heavy wine, he sang to her the words of King Solomon. Vani lo harohe Ashoshani Dodi. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. And looking in his eyes as they fell in love, and he sang these words, she fell asleep. Quickly the tent was taken down, she was placed in the carriage, drove back to the king. Brought Vasilisa to the king's chamber. She woke up, she said, where am I? The king said, I'm gonna marry you. You're my new queen. She said, sorry, I'm Jewish. She goes, I don't care, you're hot. Yes, they talked like that then too, okay? And so she said, I can't marry you because I can't get married without my wedding dress, my mother and my grandmother's wedding dress. And it's in a casket, a chest at the bottom of the sea. Unless you get my wedding dress, I can't marry you, sorry. King said, no problem. Hunter, he called him the young man. He said, you've been so good, and I know you can do this as well. I need the chest at the bottom of the sea so I can marry the Princess Vasilisa, and if you don't, again, he threatened death. The young man came out to the king, to the rabbi, again looking sad. The rabbi said, what's up? He told him. He said, my son, my friend, my young man, do not worry. This is not trouble. The trouble is yet to come. He said, go to the king and ask him for the biggest trap he has for wolves, for bears. And he did, and he brought the trap. And they went to the sea, to the beach. And this time, again, the rabbi wrote on a piece of paper, this is from the Talmud. The greatest essence, the deepest essence is love your neighbor like yourself. And to silence or put on vibrate cell phones. That was the second thing he was doing. And so, but tie this to the middle of the cage or the trap, and they waited. And right before sunset, this huge king crab came out of the sea. Now, this was not a king crab. This was the king of crabs, the size of a wolf. But he was attracted to the words of the Talmud, and so he walked into the trap. Trap closed down behind him. At which point, the hunter came and told him his story. He said, will you please help me? The crab said, of course. We should love our neighbors like ourselves, and this is a challenging story. And so the the young man released the trap. The crab came out and he clicked his fingers, his pincers, and dozens of little crabs came out. He clicked his fingers again and they all went back into the sea. And a few minutes later, they all came back, and on their backs was this chest. Hey guys, if the air conditioner is not on, can we make sure we turn it on? I know it's a little warm over here, right? Yeah, so can we please make sure the air conditioner is on? Okay, cool, thank you. And the chest came out, and it was on the back of the crabs, and the hunter took it, the young man, and he went to the king. And when he gave it to the king, he was kind of sad as well, because he loved the princess a lot. And it was clear, but he gave the chest to the king, and the king took it and opened it, and there was the dress. But the king kind of looked and said, wait a minute, princess, are you kind of into this hunter guy? And she said, well, to prove to you I am not, I want him dead. He brought me here. I want you to build a cauldron and boil him to death. What was the king to do? He called the hunter He said, look, young man, well, you and I have had a lot of profit together, but it's time. I need to get married. You need to die. So we're going to toss you in this cauldron as soon as it's boiling. It'll take a couple hours. I'm sorry about that, but hey, I'm the king. And so the young man, who now was truly terrified, went to his rabbi, and the rabbi said, now you're experiencing fear. Now you know what trouble is. Because, but this is what I want you to do. And he wrote down the words of Shema. And he said, can you still read Hebrew? He goes, of course. He goes, got those words? He goes, I know the Shema. And he goes, Rabbi, before anything, I need to tell you, I am so sorry, and I'm so grateful for your patience with me. I am so sorry. I should never rejected Torah. I should never have made fun of you. I should never have made fun of the wisdom of our tradition. If I could do it all over again, I would study and become a chacham. A wise man. I'm so sorry. The rabbi said, I know. But you know how to read the Shema, right? I said, of course. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. And he said, take this note and put it in your hand. And when they say the water is boiling, rather than letting the guards take you and throw you in the cauldron, I want you to run into the cauldron and dive in. Now the hunter thought to himself, this is crazy, but he thought, well, it's crazy. My rabbi's telling me maybe I should. It's crazy, but my soul tells me he's right. He's been right on everything else. So he got to the chamber, and the cauldron was ready. The guards were about to take and throw him in, and he ran to the cauldron, jumped in, and as he was jumping in, he was saying to himself, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. He went under the water, he popped back up, he went under the water again, he popped up and jumped out, and if he was handsome before him, he was gorgeous now. Glowing with God's light as if he had been bathed in Torah from the essence of Sinai itself, the love in his heart for the princess overflowing, just glowing. And so the king saw this, and the king, thinking, well, if this made him handsome, think how good it's going to be for me. And so the king dove into the cauldron, did not come out. It took hours before the cauldron was cool and they could empty it and only see his bones. And so people thought everyone was there. Well, we got a queen. We got a wedding feast prepared. Oh, let's just marry the hunter with the princess. And so they got married. And they hired the rabbi as the advisor to the kingdom. And the prince, or the hunter, who thought he was secular, became actually an observant Jew, learned and knowledgeable. And the kingdom had peace and prosperity, ruled by the laws of Torah. This is the journey of the hero. This is the journey. It seems crazy to everybody, but it is only through those challenges he found his destiny, isn't it? So what does a hero need to do? He needs to be willing to be crazy. What else does a hero need to do? Commit. Dive into the cauldron because your heart tells you to. We are all heroes. Doesn't matter if if your soul tells you you should be an athlete or a musician. Doesn't matter if your soul tells you you should be a philanthropist. It doesn't matter if it tells you you should be a rabbi. Wouldn't wish it on anyone. Right? Doesn't matter what it is. If your heart is your soul is telling it, there are two things that can happen. It can stay a dream, you ignore it, and it becomes a fantasy. Or you commit through your actions, and that dream becomes a reality. Isn't that the truth? That's how we become a hero, in our own lives and in all life. We need commitment. In the moment, we need commitment. In this moment. We all have dreams in our hearts, but are we willing to commit to them, to make them real? We all have dreams in our souls. Are we willing to commit to them? So that it's no longer a fantasy. It doesn't dissipate into the ethers, but rather becomes part of us and part of our world. You know, the coach of Mississippi baseball team has a great story. I love this story about commitment. It says there was this guy named Jack Weaver. Jack Weaver was a beast of a man, 350 pounds. Now, Jack wanted to lose weight. Everyone does. But he was never committed to it. Never. He wanted to, but never got around to it. And then what happened? His daughter had kidney disease. And so this normally happens. They check the family first. Do they have a matching kidney? Jack had a matching kidney. The doctor said, I cannot put you on the table. You'll die on the table. You're just too obese. Jack said, how long does my daughter have? They said 6 to 8 months. And in 6 months, Jack Weaver lost 100 pounds. Because now he had a commitment. He was committed to a moment of doing something, making it real. Gave the kidney to his daughter, and as far as I know, they are both still alive today. This is the moment, right now. It's Rosh Hashanah. What does your heart tell you you want to dream doing? What are the dreams, the goals, the things that you really would like to create in the world? And don't tell me it's about making money, because there's no polite way for phrasing it even in Hebrew. It's just not true. We want to make money so we can do something with it. What are your goals? What do you want? And are you willing to commit to it no matter how crazy it seems to everyone else? You know, everybody who's done anything, accomplished anything that was new, was told they were crazy, without exception, and they made mistakes. We remember Reggie Jackson's home runs. We forget all his strikeouts. Thomas Edison couldn't get the light bulb right, 1,000 times or something? And then he finally did. He wasn't getting it wrong. He was practicing to get it right. Pick the person who changed the world. Without exception, people said they were crazy. Without exception, they committed to their path. And so my question, my challenge for everyone here is, can you take this moment and make it the moment where tohu vavohu, chaos and confusion, become your dream and your hero? Because I will tell you, we desperately need heroes right now. We desperately need people to go up and stop these activists who want us dead on both sides of the aisle. We desperately need people to say, wait a minute, this is not okay. Stop blaming Jews, stop blaming Israel. And every time you say that to someone, you're a hero. I get death threats and hate mail all the time, as many of you know. It doesn't matter. Why? Because A, the chief of police is a friend, but B, it doesn't matter because this is what we need to do. No matter how anyone thinks we're crazy. We started the synagogue 14 years ago. Everyone thought it was crazy. We're still here, aren't we? And so, are you willing to commit to your dream? This is the question I ask to every one of you right now. Can you make this moment the moment? My prayer for all of us as we enter this new year is that we have the courage, the strength, the conviction to take this moment, make it the moment that we embrace our dreams, commit to them, and as a result, manifest them. This is our moment. This is the time. My prayer for all of us is we realize we are all heroes. And that we search deep in our souls, find our dreams, commit to them, and manifest them. Because here's the real Kabbalistic secret. When you do that, it's called a tikkun olam. Tikkun olam does not mean social action. Tikkun olam means repairing the world, a piece of repairing the world that only you can do. Bob? Only you can do. It is as if you have an instrument you need to play. You need to play it in tune. You find one note to play it in tune. You have an instrument you need to play. You need to play it in tune. One note. Maybe you're a flute, maybe you're a violin, and I'm a trombone. Our life's journey is to take the moment. Find our instrument. Find the note we need to play. And play it in tune. When we do that, when we manifest our dreams and make them real, filled with love and joy, passion, and commitment. When we do that, we are all playing our instrument in God's symphony, and that is the sound of heaven on earth. My prayer for all of us is that we embrace this moment, commit to it. As a result, become the heroes of our own journeys, the heroes Judaism needs, the heroes the world needs. And as a result, have peace. Thank you for being kind to me and allowing me to say these things to you and being here. Shana Tova Mitzvah. May we all have a sweet and good New Year. Gomar Chatima Tova. May we all be sealed for blessings in the book of life. May we all take this moment